Hey everybody, so quick video here to show off kind of the progress of ICBM and some things we're working on. So since last time, I've now gotten some more work done on the launcher. Specifically, as you can see clearly in front of you, launchers are now rotatable. Now in theory, this should load just fine with older saves. Older saves should still have their launchers facing up. But you'll now be able to, by simply right-clicking, place your launcher silo and actually get that to face certain orientations. And this now allows you to launch the missiles in whatever direction you want to face. This is kind of made possible by the fact that I've now broken up the missile flight path into different components. So as you might have seen in previous streams and videos of me explaining it, we converted the missiles over to a flight logic system, and this allows it to dynamically change what the missile uses to navigate and figure out what it's doing. And that allows things like the anti-ballistic missile system, homing missiles, stuff like that. Previous iterations didn't have this as a feature. Instead, they were hard-coded in the code of doing like an if statement, like if cruise missile do this, if rocket launcher do this, if homing missile do this logic. Now it's pretty much missiles created, set flight logic into it, set target, and then it flies and does its thing. Well, that now has a new feature into it where you can now specify the starting flight logic and then attach more flight logics after it, which now allows me to do the ability of setting a warm-up engine flight logic, which then dumps into a slow climb logic. So you do the slow climb you've probably seen with the animation, which then dumps into your lock height to guarantee that the missile will fly in a certain direction, and then dumps into the ballistic flight logic. Previously, this was all being done as a single flight logic class. So flight logic class was going like if has started, do this, and so on and so on. But this allows you to kind of go through and do all the different flight things and kind of get it working, and as well as it be expandable, customizable, and doing more and more. As we go throughout the streams, we'll probably end up doing more customization, allowing more things to be inserted in between there, as well giving the players the ability to tell the launcher what to do, like basically encode into the missile. Here's your flight logic, here's how you want to do things. And that'll most likely show up in this UI as a separate tab, although it probably won't save to the launcher itself. Probably what I'll do is when you go to make the flight path, I'll probably save it out to a folder somewhere on the server. So that way, as you go between all your launchers, you just select which flight path you want to use and possibly even share it between other people or groups and everything else. If we ever bring back the permission system from the Volt's engine system, which allowed you to share between a whole bunch of sentry guns your identities, if we bring that back, we'll also make that possible to then set up groups and then have like by default shared permissions. We'll probably put that on there and let you do flight paths. But anyways, as you probably been waiting to actually see this work, I'll show how it is supposed to work normally. So we'll get this set up, but the rotation does work. So let me remove that. Go ahead and launch this in here. I'm going to fire it. Not enough power. It would be really helpful if I powered the system. But it'll launch normally, or is it supposed to launch normally? Well, everything was working fine until you go to make a video. I'll launch in the other direction. Clearly, I broke the up direction randomly between between testing and then starting this recording. But I can say that the sideways directions do work. What probably happened with that one is I'm currently in the process of toying with initialization, where like the rotation works. Because I actually went through and I actually handled all the collision boxes. So for those who didn't know, you can ride missiles by actually mounting on them and dismounting. So you can right click on this, you can get in and off the missile. Sat logic, when I got the rotation set up for that one, I still got to fix apparently the render rotations. I must have inverted this by mistake. So I'll work on those as well. But I can get this to launch. So it'll do the start animation. Smoke still needs to be updated. But you see is I will kind of go this direction, then it'll go straight up. We don't have a minimum or maximum turn time on the missiles, so they literally just change direction randomly. But you can still set the lock height. So I can still go over here and set this go 30 first before then curving up. Still can insert the missile as normal. And it will fire. It'll then go a set direction and it'll curve up. So this allows you now to basically create sideways out of mountain silos. So you can do the doors, all that stuff. Makes your bases a lot less susceptible. And now some warnings with this I'll give. At some point, I am going to add that curve time. So for those of you who try to do really cheeky things about making it go this way and take a 90, just be prepared that that will just pop up in a version. And your nice setup might go from being plausible to it smacks in the wall and detonates your base. So if you do design your silos and do that stuff, just keep in mind that will be a behavior that will happen at some point down the road. This also is really useful for portals. So if you are messing around with portals and trying to do all that kind of stuff, this now allows you to more easily launch through a portal and get that ballistic flight trajectory, especially for things like mechanism portals that cannot be rotated up or down. Nether portals, if you want to do that way, I'm probably going to take full advantage of this on a couple servers of firing out of the nether into the overworld and having it arc the missiles up and do its normal path, because it will go through the portal and the ballistic flight logic will take over. You probably still want to set that lockout, because lockout is probably going to be the biggest factor in if that works or not. These should all do the save logic as normal, handle all that. And then you can also fire down. So like it does work in all different directions. So let me go ahead. I don't know how we're going to test firing down really quick, but I'll go ahead and show that it does, or it should work. I'm going to state like that is like it should work, because I have not tested firing down just yet. I've only tested that it will load in the launcher. Now, as for what you would use the firing down for, there are some mods that have portals that do only open from the top. I forgot the name of the mod. Oh yeah, Twilight Forest would be a great example of this one if you want to fire through its portals. So that should fire down. Oh, it's spun on the wrong side of the I've inverted up and down, I guarantee it. That's probably why that's breaking. But I'm going to leave the video here for those who are interested in it. This version will probably be uploaded later this week. You can also see the progress on Discord, and just check out our live streams as we work through all the different development.